So the first presentation then is going to concentrate on where the Ark of the Covenant is. It's really not very hard to discover that. We have the Bible and the Spirit of Prophecy, and as is often the case, the Spirit of Prophecy is very much more precise than the Bible, and it really just tells you exactly where it is and when it was hidden. It kind of gives the game away and takes all the mystery out of it. So it's a shame. If everybody believed the Spirit of Prophecy, the writings of Ron Wyatt, then we wouldn't have all this controversy and conspiracy, and I suppose Hollywood wouldn't have had such a good time with Raiders of the Lost Ark either. Anyway, the Ark of the Covenant has been found, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. I decided to call it that because I wanted to take all the information from the Bible and the Spirit of Prophecy, I must say. So a lot of this information has actually been around for a while. I just don't know that it's ever been placed all in one nice neat place. So I decided to try to make these videos and upload them all to the same website. But certainly the most excellent of all the material, I believe, you can find at the top two websites there. Arkfiles.net and thirdangelsmessage.com. I'll let you go there yourselves and find out what's there. There is a free book that you can download called Confrontation, and that's excellent. And there's several free videos to watch, and that's really an excellent resource there. My website is arkofthecovenant.co.uk, and there's a presentation there which I would recommend, particularly focused on Hebrews 9:19, which we're going to get into in a few presentations time. A lot of the information on Daniel 9, especially Daniel 9:24, came from Andrew Jones, and that's his email address there. And a lot of other information also came from Ross Patterson, and that's his email address there should you wish to contact them. So where was the Ark of the Covenant hidden? As I say, Ron Wyatt gives the game away, and she does so in Prophets and Kings, page 453, paragraph 2. So let's read what she says. Among the righteous still in Jerusalem, to whom had been made plain the divine purpose, were some who determined to place beyond the reach of ruthless hands the sacred ark containing the tables of stone on which had been traced the precepts of the Decalogue. This they did. With mourning and sadness, they secreted the ark in a cave, where it was to be hidden from the people of Israel and Judah because of their sins, and was to be no more restored to them. That sacred ark is yet hidden. It has never been disturbed since it was secreted. So the points I'd like to make here is that it is in Jerusalem. It says, among the righteous still in Jerusalem, to whom had been made plain the divine purpose. So God told them basically that Nebuchadnezzar was coming, and he was going to destroy Jerusalem and the temple. And so these righteous people still in Jerusalem, they had decided, it says, to be determined to place beyond the reach of ruthless hands, that's the Babylonians, the sacred ark containing the tables of stone. So we're talking about the Ark of the Covenant. So they wanted to hide the Ark of the Covenant from the Babylonians who were on their way. And it says that they did this. And it says that they secreted, or they hid the ark in a cave, and they're in Jerusalem. So the Ark of the Covenant's hidden in a cave in Jerusalem. Ron Wyatt says so. It also says that it was hidden from the Jews, from the people of Israel and Judah, because of their sins, and was to be no more restored to them. Okay, so the ark is not going to be placed in a third temple. The Israeli Antiquities Authority are not going to get their hands on it. Neither is the Israeli government or anything like that. Neither are the Jewish people. That's not going to happen. Ron Wyatt continues that this sacred ark is yet hidden. So at the time of writing, I think about 1914, 1915, this book was written. It says that the sacred ark was still hidden at that time. Ron Wyatt actually died in 1915, and as I understand it, Prophets and Kings was the last book that she wrote. So it's been hidden since 1915 at the time of writing at the least. and she says that it has never been disturbed since it was secreted. So at least throughout ancient history, no one can say that, well, it was hidden in Jerusalem, but it was later moved to wherever, to somewhere else. It's still in that cave in Jerusalem, and that is a thus saith the Lord. So as I say, it was written in 1914 or 1915. It was the last book she wrote as far as I could tell. And really, Ron Wyatt is the only person who's ever claimed to have found it in a cave in Jerusalem since then. So his is the only viable option when we compare the claims to have found the Ark of the Covenant with the writings of Ellen White. Those that claim to have found it on Mount Nebo, or that it's in Ethiopia, or that Shishak, the king of Egypt, that he came and took it, or that it's in Ireland or England or in Qumran. Some people think it was left in Babylon and then it must still be in Iraq, or it was taken to the Vatican and they've got it, or anywhere else. All those things cannot be true, because Ellen White says it was secreted in a cave in Jerusalem and it's still there and it's never been disturbed since. But we'll turn to the Bible as well, because Second Chronicles mentions the Ark of the Covenant. It's the last mention of the Ark of the Covenant in the Bible. Second Chronicles 35 verses 1 to 3 and verse 19. It says, "Moreover, Josiah kept a Passover unto the Lord in Jerusalem, and he said unto the Levites, Put the holy ark in the house which Solomon the son of David king of Israel did build. In the 18th year of the reign of Josiah was this Passover kept." So in the 18th year of King Josiah, he put the Ark of the Covenant back in the temple, and that's the last mention of the Ark in the Bible. So King Josiah began to reign in 641 or 640 BC. Therefore his 18th year would have been 622 BC. Okay. So the Ark of the Covenant was placed back in the temple 622 BC. That's 35 years before the destruction of Jerusalem by Nebuchadnezzar. So only 35 years before Nebuchadnezzar shows up, the Ark of the Covenant is mentioned as being in the temple. So it wasn't in Ethiopia, and as I said before, it wasn't in Nebo, in Mount Nebo. It wasn't taken away to Babylon, which we will find out later actually in the second presentation. Alright, but we can pinpoint the time even better than that. Ellen White says that the Ark was hidden between the 9th year of Zedekiah and the siege of Jerusalem in a cave in Jerusalem, as we read. This is what she says again in Prophets and Kings, pages 452 to 453. I've taken just one or two sentences out of each paragraph rather than show the whole 2 pages here, but you can refer to it yourself. So the first paragraph on page 452 of Prophets and Kings reads, "In the 9th year of Zedekiah's reign, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his host, against Jerusalem to besiege the city." So it's the 9th year of Zedekiah's reign that Nebuchadnezzar besieged Jerusalem. The next paragraph, the relevant sentence reads that the Chaldeans, or the Babylonians, abandoned for a time their siege of the Judean capital, that's Jerusalem. So they besieged it, and then they left for a while, and then they came back later. But before they came back, the prophet's fearful answer was that the Chaldeans would return and destroy the city. I'm assuming the prophet there mentioned is Jeremiah, but you can check that out for yourself. We're now on to page 453, paragraph 1. So the prophet, I'm assuming, is Jeremiah. He is answering probably the people, or whoever is inquiring, that the Babylonians would return and destroy the city. So they haven't gone for good, they will be back. And then the next paragraph is the paragraph that we read already. So knowing that the Babylonians would come back to destroy the temple, it says, I'm going to read it again because it's such a good quote. It says, "Among the righteous still in Jerusalem, to whom had been made plain the divine purpose, were some who determined to place beyond the reach of ruthless hands the sacred ark containing the tables of stone on which had been traced the precepts of the Decalogue. This they did. With mourning and sadness they secreted the ark in a cave, where it was to be hidden from the people of Israel and Judah because of their sins, and was to be no more restored to them. That sacred ark is yet hidden. It has never been disturbed since it was secreted. So, we're told that it was the 9th year of Zedekiah's reign. Zedekiah was made king in 597 BC, so the 9th year of his reign was 588 BC. Nebuchadnezzar destroyed both the city and the temple in 587 BC. It was the following year. So, assuming that these chronologies are correct, because I do understand there's differing opinions on chronologies, but that means that the Ark of the Covenant had to be hidden in 588 or 587 BC, because you only have that 1 year gap from when Nebuchadnezzar retreated and then returned. And so that was the year, that must have been the year, the 9th year of the reign of Zedekiah, that the Ark of the Covenant was hidden. Now, that's basically it. That's the mystery over. It's hidden in a cave in Jerusalem, and it hasn't been disturbed since, so it's still there. It's yet hidden. But what's the purpose of this? God doesn't waste his efforts. He hid it there for a reason. And Ellen White, well, she gives the game away on that as well. She tells you exactly why it was hidden away. This quote, the easiest place to find this quote is 1 Bible Commentary 1109. I think the original document, or at least the full document where it's found, is called Manuscript 122, written in 1901. But you can also find it in the other references at the bottom there. This is how it reads. And he, Christ, gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of God. Exodus 31:18. Nothing written on those tables could be blotted out. The precious record of the law was placed in the Ark of the Testament and is still there, safely hidden from the human family. But in God's appointed time he will bring forth these tables of stone to be a testimony to all the world against the disregard of his commandments and against the idolatrous worship of a counterfeit Sabbath. Now there's a few points to note here. A lot of people read this quote and they say that Ellen White is talking about the tables of stone that will be revealed in the sky right before the second coming of Jesus. Now it's true that there is a temple in heaven, there is an Ark of the Covenant in heaven, a heavenly ark, and therefore a heavenly set of the tables of stone. Those are the originals, so to speak. But Ellen White here isn't talking about the heavenly set. If you read the whole of Manuscript 122, she nowhere mentions the heavenly set, the heavenly ark, or anything like that. Her focus is not on the heavenly temple or anything like that. Exodus 31:18 is not talking about the heavenly ark or the heavenly tables of stone or the high priestly ministry of Christ or anything like that. Exodus 31:18 here quoted is talking about the earthly tables of stone that were given to Moses. 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone written with the finger of God. It says, and Christ gave unto Moses. And then she goes on to say that these tables are still there. So again, they haven't been taken out of the ark and taken to heaven, or they haven't been taken out of the ark and taken to anywhere, to any other country or anywhere. They're still in the ark, which she says is safely hidden from the human family. Previously she had told us that they're safely hidden in a cave in Jerusalem, and the ark is still there and the tables are still there. And then it says, in God's appointed time he will bring forth these tables of stone. So the tables of stone that are hidden in the earthly ark, the ones that were given to Moses upon Mount Sinai, these are the ones which will be basically, she's saying, taken out and put on public display. There will be a testimony to all the world against the disregard of his commandments and against the idolatrous worship of a counterfeit Sabbath. That's a clear reference to the Sunday law there, the idolatrous worship of a counterfeit Sabbath. another point to make is that there will be a testimony to all the world against the disregard of his commandments. So when these earthly tables of stone come out of the Ark of the Covenant from Jerusalem, there will be a testimony or a message to the world. There will be a very special, specific message with these tables of stone. And if you think about it, that can only make sense. I'm going to go into this a lot more later, but I just want to mention it here. God isn't going to reveal these tables of stone for our entertainment. It's not going to be just like some archaeological artifact as such, which has been discovered, and people are going to have the choice to find it interesting or not. It's not going to be like that. The world is going to be in a situation where you either have to decide, where everyone in the world will have to decide either to keep these commandments or not. They'll be forced into a situation where they have to either keep Sabbath, Saturday, or Sunday, the idolatrous worship of a counterfeit Sabbath. So at that point in time, this discovery will be relevant to everybody. And that's why this testimony or this message is so very important. This testimony to all the world against the idolatrous worship of a counterfeit Sabbath is very important. And it's a very specific testimony or message. And we're going to look into that in the latter presentations. But I do want you to just hold on and keep watching until we get to those presentations, because that is obviously the most important part of this whole discovery, is what's the message of the Ark of the Covenant and what's God trying to tell us at this time.